Welcome to Season 3 of the fucking Rad Snowboard Podcast.
Okay, perfect. 1 second, please.
Tala in ett meddelande efter tonen.
Hi, this is Sean. I'm not here right now.
You have reached Mike.
Hi, this is Jim. Leave me a message, and I will call you back as soon as I can.
Hi, you've reached Jeremy Jones.
Yeah, I'm going to call you back instead. Sorry, dude.
Hey, listeners. I can't believe we're already halfway through March. We set the clocks forward and gained an hour of sunlight for spring shredding. Sometimes we still get pow into April, but I'm sad to see the season winding down. The 2017-2018 season in BC has been incredible, and I'm happy to report that in my 80 days of riding so far, I've experienced amazing days, and I know there are still more to come. I want to thank everyone who listens to the show for tuning in, and extra thanks to all of you who have reached out with words of encouragement. I've got to get a sled. This week's guest has me completely convinced of that. He's the first guy to ever make a second appearance on FNRad, and also the first guy to make a third appearance. And this time we talk about his whole history, and it's a really good one. DCP embodies everything it means to be a snowboarder, and I was honored to be invited into his home to talk about his life in snowboarding. So whereabouts in Quebec did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicoutimi, Quebec. It's about 2 hours northeast of Quebec City.
Mm-hmm. And what's the local hill up there?
We will go to Valinois. That's a French word, obviously. but yeah, it was a great resort. There was no artificial snow. It was 100% natural. And so we grew up riding powder there, but there was also no park or anything man-made. Or Mont Bellu, so there was two smaller resort, and that was open at night or whatever. But the main place was Valinois.
So how old were you when you got your first board?
So that was like 1991. So I would have been 10.
Yeah, you were the perfect age for snowboarding.
Just 10. I had 5 years of skiing. I was just done with being a little ski racer. I was already skating, so then I was like, yeah. Yeah,
it's crazy how organized skiing was. It didn't seem like something that was fun. It seemed like something that there was a technique. It was like piano lessons. They'd broken it down, and you had to do it a certain way.
Yeah, it's like you had to be in the... Like every kid, like where I grew up was either you will be playing hockey or you will be in the ski schools and you will be ski racing. So that was that. And then we would love to be the only skaters or whatever. And there was those 5-6 guys snowboarding at the resort. And they only could do one slope out of 17. And I was just like, oh yeah, I want to do that so much, you know.
What was the first board that you got?
My dad actually on Valentine's Day in 91. He got me a board. I was a camper kid, 133. With they were the camper binding with a third strap on the top.
Yeah.
Purple and...
Yeah. With the clips.
With the clips, yeah.
And they didn't clip out, they clipped in. You go...
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
Yeah, at 10 years old with a camper kid. Yeah. You got pretty good pretty quick. And then you already had that kind of competition.
It was always like the older guys were doing it, right? I was always kind of younger, wanting to keep up. And then really how it worked out was that, yeah, we will just ride and build our own jumps and do all sorts of things and, you know, watch the movies really. Like the one movie, the standard movie, or I think it was like New Kids on the Block or like those movies, you know. Where we were from, that influence had to be brought in. It was pretty far away from Montreal or California or, you know, like Vermont even, you know. So anyways, like some friends, I heard it was like a provincial competition happening, a pipe contest, and we didn't have a pipe, but I knew what a pipe was, you know. I was like, I'd like to go ride a pipe. There's a pipe contest. Let's go, you know. And then somehow I found a ride with those older guys that I knew a little bit from the resort, and that was kind of the beginning of it all. They took me on to I was sitting in the back of this minivan, and there was 4 other guys and I felt like I was like definitely the youngest and in the back, and we're going like 7-hour drive over a ferry, get to the place, and then you get there and then you have to like spend the first part of the day or the the end of your day finishing digging the pipe that was not finished for the comp. Everybody participated, and the next day, it's the comp and everything. And so yeah, I ended up like winning that one, which took me to the next one, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll go to the next one, and then I was doing good. So then somehow, one contest led to the next, and then my parents felt supportive to let me go do more, and then I got sponsored kind of right away, actually, for gear. And
How old were you at that point?
that was like 94, so I was 13.
And you got sponsored by Burton?
Burton, yeah.
Sweet.
Burton, the rep first in Quebec. And then really like for the rep, and I had some contact. I was actually getting the gear from Burlington, but I didn't really have any contact with the team manager or anything there at that point.
You were like a Grom that was winning contests.
Yeah.
They're going to definitely get you on the gear. Burton was really smart at choosing their team riders.
Sometimes I wonder if they chose at the same time, like, all right, how's D doing? Oh, he's doing good? All right, what size feet is he? Size 9? Cool. Sample size. Perfect. Get him in. Seriously, at some point I remember the whole entire Burton team was size 9. When it more worked out with Burton was we actually were poaching a photo shoot, me and Daniel Mignot, a friend of mine that used to also compete and was sponsored by Burton in Quebec at the same time. And we were in Saas-Fee, Switzerland, just on our own trip to ride and to kind of train and get ready for the ISF contest tour that was starting in Europe that fall. And the Burton crew had a photo shoot going. They had a perfect pipe, and they were kind of not riding so much of it. They
Who
were
were the guys?
Emil Kahn was there with John Summers, and there was Xavier Hoffman, and
sick.
Maybe Terry was there too, and Johan, I think. Those guys.
That's amazing.
Oh, Ubi from Belgium, and then Morgan Nicolatos was there. Anyways,
holy
it was
smokes.
big photo shoot, and they were done riding, and every day they were like, can we ride? We ride for Burton in Quebec, Like, no, just like, we're on a photo shoot, just come back tomorrow and see. And so for 3 days, we're like, hey, can we ride? Like, you guys are barely riding. Like, we watch you every day we're here. You guys are freaking awesome, but you're not riding the pipe. Can we ride? Like, it's there.
It's perfect.
We were getting frustrated, right? There were kids,
yeah.
We're 17, we're so hungry for it. And so they're like, okay, you guys can ride. And then we just start running up, because they were at the bottom of the pipe.
Yeah.
And they told us we could go, so we just kind of ran back up and start dropping in. And that's all we did at that point, was ride pipe, so we were on it,
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, all right, let's get those guys some new boards and them some new clothes. And then from there, it was we were in that photo shoot, and then they transferred us over to the
that's so rad.
other, that was kind of one of those ones, poaching, or that persistence, or whatever you would call that. At that point, it's the next year they invite me for real. They're like, okay, you coming to photo shoot? That was 99. So that one was 98 in Saas-Fee. 99 was the one in Chile. And that year was big year. We did a lot of different jumps and hips and cheese wedges and carved it out, and we spent 2 or 3 weeks there in Valle Nevado, and I was pretty stoked. I hit every feature. I was just like, all right, I will hit that one too. Yeah, can I help on this one? I'll hit that. What about that jump? Oh, you need help with that one? I'll do that one too. I was just so hungry for it. 3 weeks nonstop. So funny. The thing though with Terry is that he is an amazing rider, but his personality is also that he's competitive with himself, so he will want to get better and everything. So that's what kept him, I think, still keeps him so relevant in snowboarding.
I agree. Yeah,
because he's just it's just charging.
He was one of the first people to be perfect on a board. You'd watch him, and his carving was perfect. His body position was perfect.
I grew up thinking he was the best out there for sure.
How crazy was it to meet him? Was it the first time you saw him or met him at Saas-Fee?
I met him before. That was funny in Mont Saint Anne, Quebec World Cup '94.
Rad.
When I was a kid, like I took like a bus there from my hometown through the snowboard shop where we would go to the punk rock show and go see the World Cup. And then I was like, I'm gonna get autograph from all those guys. And then it was like, hey, are you Terrier? Like, no, I'm his twin brother. And then he kept walking. So and then Brushy, actually. Oh, Brushy. It's like, go make bubbles. So he told me that. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But that was like '94. They had like the Jamaican.
Yeah.
It was a classic board with the like I don't know exactly which one, but then the U.S. Open I met him. Just kind of like random meeting, but yeah, with Burton we did a bunch of photo shoots together in New Zealand and Japan, movie tours and all that.
Did you progress really quickly when you moved to Whistler?
Well, so '96 West Beach Classic, how I had the spot to come in here to compete to the national team. And so I came and it was so awesome. I met a bunch of people. We had such a good time in the pipe. And then met this guy, Yoli Ricker, who...
I used to ride with him actually at Seymour.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yoli.
wanted to be Terrier back in the day.
Oh,
he would ride a balance. And
Yeah,
he
totally.
That
was when I was hanging out with him, yeah.
Head to toe, and the Oakley's the same,
yeah.
and his stance exactly the same.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And he got a couple of covers, actually.
Yeah, out of that Seymour track.
That's right. He was fun to ride with.
So he was producing the movie and riding.
Yeah, right.
He was like, that was like Adventuroscope. So Brad McGregor and those guys and Curtis Croy and Yoli. And so they invited me to film, to stay after the West Beach Classic and film some stuff. And we started, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, can you come back and film more this summer? I would like to do more summers thing going with you. And then, so we did. And then that summer, even like on July 1st, we flew to do some backcountry jumps with the helicopter. I was like, and quarter pipes and things. It's like, I was pretty pumped. I was like, okay, well, I love that. Like, young guy, you know, I was like 16 and like, all right, sweet. And so that was first movie, and so that was good for me and Burton already. And then kept doing projects year after year, and then with Treetop Production and those guys. And as I was competing, you know, up until 2001, I was heavily doing the whole like 8 or 10 contests a year, big like ISF, and then the Canadian ones, and the US Open and European Open and all those, you know. But that was pretty fun. I really enjoyed that, doing all that. But then I started filming more, and I really enjoyed that better because it was more free.
So from starting filming with those guys to like deciding that, okay, the competition thing's not what I want to do anymore, that's only a couple of years really, hey? 2 years, 3 years?
It was like 97 West Beach Classic, I guess. Yeah, like 4 or 5 more years. Yeah. 4 more years of AV contests, a little bit of filming in between, like all those Canadian productions. And then I focused more on filming, which led to the Kingpin and MacDog. And
that was sick. You made such a good transition from being like an incredible contest rider to being just like, you put down a lot of fucking heavy shit.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. I've been lucky. Do that for a while. Like yesterday, I was in sledding, and I was sledding up to Brandywine Bowl, and just remembering, like, we've done a lot of days in those mountains. Like, I feel so lucky. Like 20 years later, I'm like going up to the Brandywine Bowl and wondering if somebody hit the triple stack right there, and if somebody hit this one line, you know. And then it's fair enough, so yep, somebody did. But now we set this snowmobile track at the bottom of this gnarly cliff, man. Looked like it was like 100-foot drop on a snowmobile.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You got in on it when it happened. Like when stuff started getting named, right?
Yeah. There was already a few guys like Alan Clark and Jonathan and Derek Hite and
Oh yeah.
Like Matt Demansky and that crew had the sleds and were starting to adventure a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that we already like from Superpipe 98, 97, they had the sleds. We're like, oh man, we're gonna get sleds someday. We're gonna get sleds, we're gonna so get sleds. And I think it was.
What was the first sled you got?
It was probably in 2000 Summit, the yellow one, 700.
Nice.
Summit 700.
Yeah.
But that at Bush, what's the name of that shop in Pemberton? With a trailer. Double trailer. I didn't have a car nor a driver license. So I had to I just got the sled and got the trailer so that somebody could tow me around.
They put their sled on and bring yours up.
So I was lucky on that too, that I had some good friends and good people that, like Scott Surface, really, he towed that trailer around all winter almost, because we shot a lot together that winter, and that was amazing, because he would just pick me up, pin it up, we'll go do our thing, drop me off, unpin, and just
He's an incredible person.
So
I remember when he took up photography.
Yeah, he's rad. Yeah, I know him a lot for that, all those early years, him and Curtis Croy. And
did you treat working for Burton as a job where it's okay, I'm a professional snowboarder, I got to get filming done, I got to get, or was that just for you? You're progression?
I feel like it all kind of happened progressively. It was not much force. Of course, at some point I was okay, well, I'm getting sponsored, I'm getting stuff, I think I can do that, and I was enjoying doing it, and then so I was yeah, okay, I'm going to be a pro snowboarder. But at that point it was, you do all the contest schedule, right, and you get a travel budget for it, and then the better you do, the better incentive you get, and it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do movie project, but you work on one thing all year, right? So in September you get a movie part, maybe.
Right.
So nowadays it's so much more excessive on the. I feel like what they ask as a team rider now, all the companies, you have to always produce content every day new content. It's the more views and this, and try to there's a lot of self-promotion, nowadays. Before it was often, Terry is, doing his own thing, and when he was out snowboarding, he was killing it, inventing shit, and,
Yeah.
But, at that point, was not, you had to be always out there to produce the content. It was, catch me if you can type deal, I'm the, for him, it was almost, from our side, it was oh, man, he was the best in the world, so if you want to take a photo of him, you better be ready, because he's coming through, and so now it's you want your photos, you go make it happen, and then
you're working,
and then people are editing, and then already editing before the end of the day's over, and there's stories, and there's all those apps now that make it that it is so accessible right there and then that now it's harder, I think.
And now that's what you're kind of a slave to.
Mm-hmm.
It's you got to get engagements. You need to get this out to prove that you are doing a thing. Whereas before, like you said, with Terry, he's just the best in the world.
I'm not saying that the effort wasn't there, because it was incredible, all the movie parts that they've done and everybody has done, and the progression that happened then for where snowboarding was, It's not that it was easier, because everybody was competing and filming and all that, but it just felt more like you're working towards this one big project, and there was only maybe 4 or 5 movies, right?
That's it.
You wanted to make it to the global.
Yeah.
Global was your film for those movies, right?
Craig was on the team when you were on the team. He was a notorious badass negotiator and contract writer, and
I never got to know him on that level of feeling very comfortable, talking about contractual stuff and everything.
Right.
Because he was definitely, to me, he was the ultimate guy. Growing up, I wanted the Craig Kitty micro air so hard.
Yeah.
And he was, kind of like that guy.
Oh, of course.
And then when I got to meet him, actually, it was, it's iconically for me, I always remember, it's this first summer I came here, he still had a half-pipe camp on
Yep.
Blackcomb.
Yep.
And me and my buddy Daniel Mignot, same guy that before, other story, we hiked up to the top of Southern Couloir in the summer to ride down, and there was one guy there strapping in. It was Craig Kitty, and we're like, oh man, all right, well, amazing. Can we ride behind you? You know, it's like, oh yeah, no problem. So we rode behind Craig like that summer. I was like, oh okay. So that was kind of a mystical, like, oh, he was here, he was gone. Like, then where did he go? Like he disappeared. Like, kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, where did he go? Either way, that was Craig Kitty down Southern, you know. And then when I got to meet him more was this meeting at Copper Mountain. Burton had a week there. He was there. We got to ride, and we got to ride like duck ropes and ride little stashes of pow in the early season and ride the mini pipe and
sick
meetings. And that was just about when like was some crazy heavy meetings with team management, and there was a lot of cuts happening and direction changing towards a lot of more filming and movie making and all that. And at that point it was like still contest oriented, and he was just like, oh man, stuff's crazy right now, like, you know. My wife has a lot more. She was a very good friend of it.
Yeah.
They did a bunch of trips together, some sick stuff in the BC and Yukon and Greenland.
Classic. That's so dope. So you meet your wife you mentioned in 99, is that right? That's early on.
Yeah, I was young. And
yeah, you're a young kid.
Young and very early, but like, yeah, you know, you don't plan that, so it's good. It was awesome.
Yeah, of course.
She was great, and was at Bromridge 4-minute camp on the. We had Duggar pipe. It was after Super pipe, the summer afterwards, 99, and she came up like as a friend of a friend. We needed some people to pay the way, you know, the half-price campers, like everybody come up, you know, let's make it happen type deal. We had 6 sessions, but she up there in the mountain at Bromridge cabin, you know, for a week with all the same people, and it's foggy, and then it's like, so you get to know people, you know, and it worked out pretty good for us. And 99 is really when it all started.
That was a big season out here too. Like it snowed like it's never snowed like that ever again. Remember how much snow there was? Like you said, you guys went out and filmed July 1st. There was still more snow than there is now, July 1st.
Yeah.
That was dope. That was a big, big year. What happens at the end of the competition stuff?
Well, the 2002 Olympics were going to be in Salt Lake City.
Right.
And so, out of Park City. So they were hosting a qualifying event in 2001. The winter before. Or was that maybe it was 2002, like, and it was maybe like right before, like in the fall or something, or January or something. Yeah. Could have been that. I don't remember exactly, but like it was like so I didn't make it through. I failed in second round of qualifiers, didn't make it to final, and I didn't make the team. Right? So I was like, okay, I'm not making the Olympic team, so I don't really want to keep going with competition, you know, and all that. I wasn't even really trying for it, but I was, you know, I could have made it at that point. Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, okay, jump on the phone call, like already, like, hey, Shane Chardebois was a Kingpin filmer at that time, and I just had started filming with them a little bit the summer before. So then I was like, hey, where are you guys at? I'd like to join the crew. And then it's like, oh, we're on the way to Solitude. Why don't you meet us there? I was like, all right. So I just jumped in a cab. Just went from Park City pipe in my clothes, same board, everything. I just like went. I think they had like an extra transceiver and backpack and everything, and we just like went off the side of Solitude and hiked for a little while, built this sweet jump that made our video part that year. You know, that was like the first day. It was like, and then we just started filming from there, and then it led to a lot of very amazing trips and moments and
Utah's
feelings.
A really amazing zone.
I remember this zone we were sledding in Utah all the way to the backside of Alta.
Yeah.
So you get to the top and literally you could just like get up there and just rip down.
As you transition out, did you ever go back to competing? Like, did you do some random events from time to time?
Well, yeah, I just stopped being on the national team and touring everywhere all the time. After that one, I did one more contest actually that year, and it was the Sims Invitational here in Whistler.
Rad.
And so that was kind of like one of the last one, but we were filming as well, so that was kind of part of it. That one movie we had, the Kingpin one, I don't remember the name now of it, but it was one of those ones. And that was the end of that one. But yeah, I did like, Toyota Big Air and Nissan X-Trail, some big air contests in Japan I was invited to. And then for a few more years, Burton still wanted me to do the European Open and US Open.
Yeah.
I did a few. I really ate it bad at the US Open one year. And I was like, I'm done with the US Open. So I just had to cancel it. But I overshot the third jump by so much and just F myself up so hard.
Yeah.
And I was in Stewart, BC. We were there like for a week, like building stuff in the bad light, waiting for the sun window. Then the US Open's coming. I don't want to go, but they're having me go, and I'm traveling, and I fuck my shit up, and then it turns blue there. They hit all the jumps.
Oh,
it's like, I was one of these things, like, you know what, like, why do I keep trying? Like, I want to film, I don't want to compete in pipe anymore. So that's like another factor that was like, okay, well, so anyways, I was lucky to be able to do that. To have supportive sponsor that says, okay, well, no more comp.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Not many people get that.
Yeah, it was.
If you're a contest rider, for sure.
Then I guess also thanks to Travis Wright, then he did a few, like 3 of those events that free ride meets freestyle.
What was the first one in Jackson Hole again?
Natural Selection.
Natural Selection.
That was pretty fun. And Dick's Ditch, and then Casper Bowl.
Yep.
That was the best because we were there for a week and they ran the event on the last day, and it snowed at least 2 feet every night until then. And we just were riding. They had us tickets and hotel right there. It was pretty crazy.
Travis has done amazing things for snowboarding.
Yeah.
He started getting involved in
for sure, and giving back. But
already
already as he started, he always seemed like he had that to give back attitude, even in what he was doing, and this exploding backside rodeo of the craziest hip, like it was almost like, oh, let's see what's possible.
Yeah.
I
remember watching Travis for maybe a season when I was young, and when you were young, people would just huck till they hit a lot of the times. So at first his stuff looked like he's the luckiest guy on the planet. He's going towards the jump, he doesn't know what he's going to do, and he flips around off axis, and then it was maybe a year into it, I'm like, oh no, he's got all that stuff on lock. That's what snowboarding is now.
And then I was lucky to get involved with that, to be invited on this Art of Flight shooting. Mm-hmm. So I got on some of that. This crazy trip.
How crazy was that? Because that was a different way of filming completely from anything anyone had ever done.
Well, it was a lot of cameras and a lot of people, like bigger production, like so much gear to transport into one location and waiting for it to be everybody in position and ready to go, and their radios working. Oh, you got this. Oh, your battery. Oh, the battery away. Running a battery. They want every angle covered for everything. So that was an adaptation a bit, but like the fact that they also had so much budget, and it was pretty cool because you get to fly so much and get to ride so much, because while they're getting ready, like sometimes we'll just do a free run because we're like, oh, well, let's keep warm, on this ride here, and then we come back, everybody's ready, we send it up this.
That's rad.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Johan talked about he had a reputation of just going and not waiting for people.
Right.
And he said, that's because I'm risking my life. I can't go when I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know when I don't feel it is when I've been fucking sitting here for a half an hour while you're rating that your fucking battery's out of. Okay, you should have had that dialed because I'm dropping now.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Sorry about your battery fucking problem. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool to see you today because your filmer was going to bed and you're like, fuck, I wish I could go tomorrow. And for the amount of time that you've been filming and going and days, I see in your eyes that you still know what the conditions are going to be like tomorrow. You still know that the sun is going to be out. It's going to be blue. There's going to be good snow, and you want to go.
Mainly the snow thing, right? It's like, you want fresh to be able to, when it's deep, you can go so much bigger, right? And there's things that are not possible to do when it's not deep, and when it is, it's like, you're like, yeah, you just jump off that. Oh shit, okay.
You still have it. How do you, like, you're still hungry like you were back then now. How is that even possible? It's amazing.
I don't know if I'm still as hungry, but I'm definitely still hungry. I mean, it's just, for me, it's just fun, you know, and now I have my kids and I see them, they're starting to want to jump every single side hip possible, and like, it's pretty funny, you know, and so it gives me more stoke too, and also with the snowboard team, with the brand, and to see all other riders on the boards, and really, you know, it's also remotivating.
Okay, so let's talk about, was it scary to leave Burton, the biggest company in the world, to start a thing?
But it's not exactly how it worked. We didn't really leave Burton. We didn't really have, like, it was like at that moment, the 10-year shuffle, we called it. We were part of the shuffling of, you know, I don't know exactly what it is, new CFO or something, or they just clean up house. And so we all got fired from Burton.
Who got fired at that time? Because it's big people.
JP, Roman, and I.
Yeah.
And then Kier didn't, and probably Trevor maybe, and I don't know, a bunch of people around the same time. And Gigi decided to quit, which was pretty awesome.
That is amazing. That was like a solidarity thing, like, you can't fire everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here, fuck that.
And then I'm next, you know, it's like, that didn't work. So then at that point, like, we're kind of out of sponsor, and then we're looking around, actually, you know, on our own, and we were pretty tight at that point, Raman, JP, and I, and Gigi, with Bun Inc. and everything, and traveling. And so I had an offer from Arbor, but the guy's like, I can, you know, we can get rid of the whole team, and then we could get you on there. And then I was like, I'm not that guy that's going to fire the whole team and become that guy.
I hear you.
So then that didn't work out for me. So I was like, okay, Raman, what's going on your hand? And he was like, well, why don't we start our own thing? And like, JP's down, and I was like, oh, okay, right on. So it was like, kind of like, we just started, and we had the Nidiker family back in it. And at first they were a mess, and it was crazy, and it took years, but they're a pretty solid organization now. I'm pretty stoked to be affiliated with those guys. And
yeah, you never had a year of crappy boards, so that's good.
Well, at first, you know, like when we first started making them, like it was, compared to now, like it's night and day, really. Like, but I mean, they were dope at that point, but they were made in Tunisia and not the best factory, and like, now they're solid boards, I think. I mean,
yeah. Who came up with the name? Was it collective or was it?
It was like, there was a few words passing around. And
what were some of the ones?
There's like one was it was like Amor.
Yeah,
and we're like, that didn't go. That was like kind of like in the top ones, kind of, but not really. And then it was Obama's campaign in the U.S. and they had those "Yes, we can" signs. And so that fall, 2008, we start like the painting some boards because we didn't have a name yet. So we did "Yes, we can" on the base because it was like, you can't do this, you can't start a company,
right?
You can't do that in a recession, like you're gonna fuck up, like. And so we thought it was appropriate, and then so we started a year filming with those boards. Yes, we can. We're like, oh, we're not gonna call it Yes, We Can, but then at that same time, right before the trade show, we needed to have a company name and everything.
Yeah.
You know, start selling shit. So like, we're like, oh, well, let's just ditch like part of that. Like, why don't we just call it Yes? Like, Yes Snowboard, Yes dot. Yeah, okay, good. That became the first graphic with the Yes Basic, and that was on all 4 models that we had at that point. Different colors, and that was the first trade show in Vegas, or the last trade show in Vegas. That was our first trade show. And that was pretty funny.
I remember as a consumer being like, I like that. There was this positivity in snowboarding that was like infectious, and the Yes program was like right at the front of that.
So yeah, that was pretty sweet. We were lucky to like have that window. I guess it was the window of.
You sold some
worst
boards.
timing, but the good timing.
Yeah.
It was the perfect timing.
It needed it. Snowboarding needed something new and cool, and the Yes hit it. When did Geeky do Slash? That was
so that was like
later.
3 or 4 years later. So that was through like we established a relationship. Well, Raman did with Nidecker, and then came Jeremy Jones. We introduced them together into doing something. Yeah. And then JF for the bindings, and then Slash.
Rad. Yeah.
So Slash is because it was the agent of Raman, or ex-agent of Raman was Gigi's agent, and they were talking, and then they're like, you should do it with them. And then we're like, hey, Gigi, you should come with us, And it's like, I want to do my own thing. Like, all right, well. So then it ended up doing something along the same.
When did Warburton join the team?
Well, we did 5 years. We did 4 years. So 6 years is done, I think, with us now.
Yeah. You guys are 10 years now?
Yeah, that's our... Yeah.
Congrats.
We're
that's
10
awesome.
years, like, we're just right now setting the 10th... I mean, not in stores, but, like, at trade shows right now. That was our 10th. And, so that was pretty sweet.
Who does most of the work? Is it a lot of work for all of you, or?
Yeah, I mean, Alex is definitely. I mean, we hire him to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That he's very good at and organized and has a lot of experience with, and I think all together, we have a lot of the visions and ideas and where it's going and marketing and branding and everything. Yeah. And then Raman and I work a lot together with Alex, and then I do a lot of I do the team management and lots of the content gathering and producing and negotiating and everything and finding the money for and all that. So all the movies I co-produced them, I guess, with the filmers and everything. And JP is working on our new project. New project. Can be split not very new because we've been doing t-shirts for a long time, but we have a new brand called Yes on Life that's going to be more t-shirts, hoodies, lifestyle brand. And Perfect. So he's in Bergen in Norway, and there's an office there. The company is based out of Bergen, and so that should launch soon as well.
Sick.
And so that's kind of like a little bit of our role these days.
Have you had companies try and negotiate to buy you out or take you over or any of that kind of stuff?
There's not really, not like that, not like but we've talked to a few people at some point on options, and I think we're all pretty happy with our factory that we're at, and the relationship that we've grew with at Nidecker, I think is good now. But Nidecker now they don't even really produce snowboard anymore. Like they do have Nidecker, they just bought Flow.
Right.
So that really added up to their portfolio and all that, but like they're one of the big brand now, like
totally.
with Flo and Nidecker and Jones and now and Yes, right. But they're a licensee agency now, kind of.
Okay.
So what they're doing for us is they're doing all of our logistics. They're like handling sales and logistics. So we run marketing with whatever is agreed on with them, so it's kind of how it works. It's so it's the 3 owners, it's me, Raman, and JP, and then those guys are a licensee.
That's
That's
dope.
our partnership we are.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's
So
a good
maybe
setup.
someday somebody's like, hey, we want to buy you. And we'd be like, well, okay, let's see. Do you do soy sauce? I don't know. Do you do energy drink? We consider that one.
Yeah, the soy sauce thing. I went down to that factory.
Was that M3? That was, yeah.
Yeah.
But those brands were sick. Yeah, when the Forum 8 started, like that was, it was like all the ones, the MacDog ones, Simple Pleasure and technical difficulties and all those. There's like Resistance and all those, but like that. There was a lot of the Forum things, but like the original with Duffy and Devon, like that was definitely huge. It was like, oh man, there's Canadian guys in there.
Yeah. It was like the second run at like a ride type company where they were like, what if we just use a really good formula? Like I heard that the owner of Forum was good friends with Steve Rocco, actually. World Industries.
Oh, yeah.
So in skateboarding.
Right.
And he was just like, oh, let's...
Yeah, well, World
let's do
Industries, Shorties.
Yeah.
That kind of like started that skate style, marketing, a team influence, team videos.
Let's do some of the memorable trips. Like what comes to mind when you think of... What makes an all-time trip?
There's so many trips. I feel very fortunate, but they're all awesome in a way,
Cool.
It's new and it's there, but like there's a few definitely in my mind because we saw a photo here of Alaska. My first trip to Valdez, Alaska was probably like one of the most memorable trip ever. Like we were there with MacDog, but that was our first year of filming Alaska, and so it was UC and Josh Dirksen and I. Rod Kramer, who was the filmer director of MacDog at that time, and then Adam Moran, who was a Burton photographer. We rented a helicopter for 28 hours. So it was like 2 weeks private, 2 hours minimum a day. So 28 hours of possible flight time. We all paid with our Burton travel budget. So we're like, okay, so we're in Thompson's Pass in an RV with the helicopter parked right next to us, right? The first 3 or 4 days we don't fly, so then the time piles up. So on our first flying day, we can technically fly 10 hours and be cool with the program. Anyways, that trip was so insane because we got to film very cool lines that, we were just learning about all Alaska and the bigger mountains and everything. But sick lines, but we probably filmed like 7 or 8 lines. And we did 67 free runs that trip. And we just basically were there like, you know what? We need to learn to ride this terrain. So we're going to shoot. But man, we're here on this budget and we got all that time to burn. Like we're going to fucking shred the shit out of this place.
Well, your first trip to Alaska, you guys were riding safely.
And yeah, for sure.
It was post...
We had a guide with us and from Thompson's Pass ABA.
Cool.
That was before they started to do like the things on Thompson's Pass, how do you call that? Everybody go camp out now.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you done some of that too? You've spent some time overnight on glaciers and tents and all that stuff.
A little bit, yeah. Some. I still need to do one of those trips where I spend like 2 to 3 weeks camping, hiking everywhere. Like I would absolutely love this. Like sometimes it's just a matter of finding the partners and that wants to do it and the projects that makes you go do it.
Totally.
And it hasn't really happened. I was invited to go on a couple of the trips with Jeremy for his trilogy movies, but there was always something happening at that moment, like
timing.
Yeah, either I had like a pulled MCL one time, or just something happened before the trip, or the trip got pulled, or
Yeah.
So at some point, I've always been like, well, it was just not meant to be, If it was, I would have been on the trip. You know? But,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Did you? Because a couple of people, Fulton and Rankwit, have mentioned like, when they got to Alaska, like, they were scared shitless. The nerves were, like, crazy.
Yeah, we were like, and sleeping in RVs right there in the middle of the pass was like, holy shit. But like, before the trip, I think I was in the US Open, and Donning and Terrier told me, hey man, when you go to Valdez, go do the wall. Ride the wall. Tell those guys to take you to the wall first run. I was like, I didn't know nothing about it, you know, and then the guy, you know, I'm like, hey, can you take us to the wall for a warm-up run? And the guy's like, the wall for a warm-up run? Like, yeah, my friends told me to go there. They're like, all right, let's go to the area of the wall for a warm-up run. And they're like, kind of like laughing. And so we start flying straight to it and like, holy shit, okay, that's the wall. It's like a 3,000 foot vert, like from top to bottom, you see to the bottom. It's like that one run that I think it's like Noah Selasnek and one of the TB and the pink lights, bunch of spines. I think it's maybe double with Craig Kelly or something. Yeah. Anyway, the wall, right? So it's like, oh yeah, first run in Alaska. I don't know about that. Let's do the little shoulder right next to it, you know, first. Like right here. And then we did. And just every turn sloughing, and it's like, oh my gosh, okay, all right, you gotta be on it, you know, and that tiny little thing helped, and then we bump up to the wall, which was a big run. I think it's not necessarily a hard run, but it's intimidating.
It's like jumping into the pool.
Oh yeah,
and then
it would be like
jumping
off the 50-foot cliff into the pool. Right? All right, you don't know to swim? Jump off this cliff. You'll figure it out.
Unreal. So what's the difference for you as a rider owning the company as opposed to being the guy on the paycheck program?
It's been pretty cool because Rama and JP and I have been able to keep, because of the brand, to keep going and snowboarding, and we're still hungry for it. You know, after Burton, and it's different because you actually, if I go out and I actually care about if I'm gonna, you know, I want to do it, you know, I just don't want to go fuck around and not do anything. Might as well then just go free riding with my friends if I'm, you know.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever done that, you know, I've always been very passionate about being out in the mountains and doing what the sponsors expecting me to do, you know, but I mean, for a while, you're fed by that, you know, it's almost like that's what you're after, you know, and then you progress and you want more of it, and then the winters are very exciting because you wake up early and it's like the night before, you already know you're going to go hit this biggest jump, you've seen it the day before, or you pre-built it, and you're like, you know it, like, and like, I don't know if it's still like that now, but like, I remember waking up at 4 o'clock and being at the jump before sunrise, buffing it and testing speed, and then first light on the landing, it's ping, it's like, go! You just send it off the biggest cliff and like at 6 a.m., you know, like, and you just didn't sleep from being so like crazy about it, you're like, and that's, I think that was my fix for a while, you know, and then you get to I became more appreciative of just the playfulness of snowboarding.
This year I got my first dedicated POW board, a Chase 162 from Wired Snowboards, a Vancouver-based company that's headed up by Rob Dow, a veteran pro snowboarder who also designs some of the best riding boards available on the planet. You get an extra 10% off a Wired snowboard with an offer code FNRad at checkout at wiredsnowboards.com. Support for the podcast also comes from the Boardroom Snowboard Shop. The Boardroom offers the best selection of snowboards and everything you need to go snowboarding, and they're offering listeners of the podcast 5% off sale items with the offer code FNRAD5 and 10% off all regular price stuff with the offer code FNRAD10. Check out boardroomshop.com and buy yourself something exciting. Back to DCP.
Yeah, I mean, you watch a contest now, and people do like, I mean, big props to that. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
But I'm watching the Olympic, I'm like, holy smokes, 5.5 times, 6 turns, like.
There was a couple of times where I saw stuff where I'm like, ooh, they're really milking. Like, that guy didn't go very big, but he fucking spun around the whole
it's just
time.
like there's a lot of crazy spins and all that, and now if you're an outsider, in my perspective, is like, ooh, snowboarding is crazy, it's exciting. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not even to some people, it's like that see it from the Olympic first time, like, snowboarding is too crazy. I'm never going to be able to snowboard. So for me, the last few years with True Yes, I've been, transitioning from like really wanting to hit hammer parts and big jumps and big gap and scaring the hell out of myself and feeding off that feeling to more wanting to like inspire my kids to get on the mountain, but also like get to keep people of our age or get people to go snowboarding, because otherwise like, hey, I'm never gonna do like 1600 double grab, whatever. I'm never gonna go 20 feet out of the pipe. What's the point of snowboarding?
Right.
Because there's a lot of people see that, but if you can keep promoting like, ooh, those powder turns and like just riding the resort and side hits, like Arthur Longo, like the stuff he does.
Oh my God.
There's
yeah.
just a few guys now that it's totally that, and companies are embracing that now. I feel like more.
Definitely.
But it's like the accessibility of snowboarding is what is going to keep snowboarding. And of course you need the progression, because that's part of it too. But it's almost like, to me, like cranking a method of something into PAL is like way better than seeing any triple cork happening on any size jump, I wish that obviously Mark and those guys like did better like he wanted, but like at the same time I think Red in the slope style, he really put down a run that was impressive, like, and different and creative using the way that the course and the front side air of the quarter pipe and then using the other. I think it was pretty impressive. I'd like to see that.
You've got a daughter, you've got a wife, and one of the things, the only positive thing that I've seen for snowboarding from the Olympics, aside from the fact that it's just really mainstream, like it's really hammered it into, like it's the most exciting sport in the Olympics. That's why they put it at the end. And aside from that, the only positive thing that I've seen is that it's starting to force companies, and especially the ones putting on the big contests, to bring the level up for women.
Yeah.
Bring the prize money up.
I think that women's snowboarding progression has gone way up recently as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
For sure. I think I would say in big reason is like with on the competition level anyways, is like a lot of the girls and the guys have access now to training facilities, trampoline and airbags, and they can try tricks, and they have the manicured like all the same course as the contest as training ground.
Yep.
That helps a lot for consistency and to learn and progress for sure. And I think that it's awesome to see like cap double cork 10 big from girls, and like it's awesome. I think it's really it's not anymore like the cab 5s and the just the back 7s that makes it happen. They're sending it.
They are sending it. I think the women's progression outpaced the men's there for a couple of years. Like, so the gap is less for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, I'm all about the equal thing for sure. I think it's great. And I was watching on the plane. You know, seen that movie that the tennis thing? That when the girl that she accepted this challenge against this ex-pro or pro tennis player man that wanted to make a tournament to prove that the women shouldn't be on the same course and they should just be at home and doing this and that. Cool. And she beat him, and that's history. That's for real. She beat him, and that created. She was given, I guess, the Medal of Freedom, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Good.
By Nixon. And
anyways, that's dope, dude. I gotta watch that.
Yeah,
sure.
So
that
it's pretty
awesome.
Cool. So now it's like kind of like a little bit like Jamie Anderson, a little bit like I saw her Audi commercial. It talks about a little bit like how the progression and how she feels like she's been part of that now it is becoming more equality and prize money and tricks and and just the way that it's broadcasted and
Absolutely.
everything.
And I'm really hyped too that we're in that era where fun is coming back, like you were saying.
Yeah, today was fun to see the jam that they had at Cypress, because they had such a cool vibe with everybody's pushing the lines, but then there's the kids going, and then there's girls and guys and just people cruising through regular public, and then guys are filming stuff and artist stuff. And
Rad.
It's pretty cool.
It was a beautiful day up there. They did a demo, and they did. They cut a bowl like a.
The pool party they called it. It was like a skate
fun.
bowl.
Yeah.
Hip into bowl, another hip.
Sick.
And then people were coming from the top over the cut into the training.
Yeah,
Cliff
that's
style.
amazing. Oh, that's super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Did you go to Holy Bowly last year?
At Sunshine Village, I did, yeah. That was really fun. I'm glad I did. I was like, for a few years, I was just looking at it on the social media like, oh, that looks fun. Oh, man, why didn't I go? Oh, I should have been there. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going. It's in Canada. It's like 8 hours away from here. I'm going. I'm driving.
You drove it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so dope. Who are your sponsors now? Do you have sponsors outside of ES that...
Yeah, Globe brand.
Sick. Oh,
Globe.
yeah.
We do collaboration products with them.
Killer.
We have like a collab boot, a snowboard, a skateboard, socks. So anyways, Globe is one, Anon Optics, deluxe boots.
Sick.
Pretty much that now, I guess.
And
I was with North Face 9 years, but they didn't sign me this year, so that's the end of an era there for me.
Does that make you bitter when that happens?
A little bit, just because I know that the brand itself has more heritage than that, and I feel like sometimes multiple managers, like I've probably had 7 or 8 different managers in 9 years,
God.
and so the last one, I was just not on his program, and then the next one that just now is locked up with whatever the other guy did. So now it's like, okay, that's it.
That sucks, man.
You know, so it's kind of like not bitter, because I'm very grateful of all that it provided me. North Face is a great company, great product, and I got to climb with the best of climbers in the world, and got to meet all those amazing people. And but I wish I was, that could have kept going, because I felt like could still fit right in there, with those guys. Not I don't ask for the moon either, but it was just a weird thing with management, I think.
Okay, so do you take knowledge from the way it makes you feel when a company drops the ball like that, and like take care of your riders on your
Try
team?
to, yeah.
As best you can.
Yeah, and definitely, yeah, exactly. That's the last thing. That's the hard part, to be a team manager too. Sometimes, like, you gotta make those decisions, and it's like, it sucks. It's like, really, like, so yeah, you see both sides, being on, having the brand and everything, both sides of everything, both sides of advertising, of coverage, and this, and all in all, snowboarding is amazing, and I'm very happy to be part of that community, because
you seem to have such a good balance in it. Like, that's the craziest thing, is that you're running a company, and like I said earlier on, you're like, fuck, I wish I could go tomorrow. You know how many industry people that run companies haven't gone this year yet?
For us, we do it because we want to keep snowboarding. So if we were not be able to ride, we would not run a snowboard brand, I'll do something else. You know what I mean? Be like, I'm gonna become a guide, or what can I do I'll just do construction all summer and I'll snowboard all winter. Like.
FNRad shoutouts this week to Jillian Kelly, Craig's sister, and Craig's entire family, Savina, Brian, Patrick, and Craig's mom, for supporting the snowboarder who really put snowboarding on the map. Be sure to come back next week for another episode of the FNRad Snowboarding Podcast, brought to you by BR Productions. Your son's pretty young, eh?
Yeah, I think he needs a little bit more time on the snow. I
think it's about 7 or 8. They can go fast. They can charge it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. He goes fast. It's just like I think even his board is too small for powder, if I ride. But Lily's ready for a day of sledding.
She did really good at the Banker Bank slalom night.
She was
Congrats
thrilled.
to her. That's dope.
She sat down on her first turn. She said she was bummed because that slowed her down, obviously, you know.
Is she goofy or regular?
Regular.
Yeah, that was a goofy turn. You could flow through it goofy, but if you're regular, you came shooting out, and and you had to transition from
She
heel
said
to toe.
she said that she went all good except she fell there, so she lost a lot of time.
Yeah, then she had to hop back up, and she had to hop up heel side for sure.
Yeah.
But that's cool that she's doing it, and you're friends with JF, so the kids get along and ride. And
Yeah. Lily just likes to do it for fun, you know, and she actually wanted to do it this year. It's like, oh, it looks fun. I've been here all the time and might as well do it, you know. I'm gonna be there anyways.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and I would love to maybe get the bags of goodies, you know. That looks always fun. All my friends always get the goodie bag, you know?
Yeah.
So we did the qualifiers, the locals qualifiers, and thanks Jen, and she qualified and she got second. So she was like super stoked.
Sweet.
And so she rolled up to that event pretty fired up, and that was cool.
That was
we
fucking...
should smoke your giant.
Yeah, for sure.
I think kids are sleeping, so we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Smoke it in here.
Killer, man. Well, thanks for doing that. That was fucking crazy
problem.
awesome.